Okay, good morning, everybody. We are starting our shiur on parashat Vayeshev. And I want to approach an interesting point that we see in our parasha is written, 1 minute. Okay. Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz megurei aviv be'eretz Canaan. And Yaakov sat at the land of his father, where he lived in the land of Canaan. Vayeshev in Hebrew is like to sit, but like he sat on his place, and then Rashi is explaining us, קפץ עליו רוגזו של יוסף. The whole story with Joseph started because he was sitting. ביקש יעקב לשב בשלווה, קפץ עליו רוגזו של יוסף, לא דיים של צדיקים, is not enough of the tzadikim, what is waiting for them in the next world. They want to sit here comfortably and enjoy life in this world. No. You have here this world, you have to work, you have to move, you have to do. And the question is, what does it mean? When we look in the last parsha, it's written regarding to, 1 minute. ויאמר אלוקים אל יעקב, קום אל בית אל ושב שם. It's saying, go to Beit El and sit there and make an altar for me, for God. And here it's also very interesting. He didn't say thank you right away when he came back to Eretz Israel. So God is telling him, you have to say thank you. But it's very interesting. You will think that maybe he's saying, first of all, build an altar and bring a sacrifice to say thank you, and then sit. But God is telling him, first of all, sit, and then you build an altar. And what does it mean? So here, God himself tells him to sit. And in our parsha, when he wants to sit, the Torah tells us it's not good to sit. And also, how is Yaakov called? Yaakov, Ishtam Yoshev Oalim, sits in the tents of Torah, the tents of this world, the next world. And so, in other words, sitting is the whole idea of Yaakov. Ishtam Yoshev Oalim, sits, he sits. So we want to understand what's going on here. Is sitting good or is sitting bad? And this is something very important to understand. First of all, when God is telling him last parsha in Vayishlach, and he tells him, "V'shev sham v'aseh sham," sit there and then make an altar. Sit is coming to, what is it, yishuv hadat in we say in Hebrew, like settle yourself. It's like sitting in a way, settle yourself, settle your mind, and then bring a sacrifice. And if we want to understand it, it's like, for example, today, if I have to do something and I'm rushing into it without thinking, not always going to come good of it. And for example, talking about building an altar, saying thank you to God, prayer. Let's see, I'm late for Mincha and I'm rushing to get to Mincha and I'm getting in the last minute and I quickly want to go with the congregation, with the minyan. And I find myself that the whole tefillah is not worth a lot because everything is in a rush. I don't think about it because I'm in a rush. So this is the idea that our sages used to come an hour before to settle themselves, sit down, settle themselves, take the mind of all the things from outside and concentrate in the prayer. And this is the idea of Shev Sham V'aseh Sham Mizbeach. You come from a long way, you had a lot of difficulties, and your mind is full with thoughts of this and that. So first of all, sit down, settle yourself with your mind, concentrate on what you're going to do, take all the wrong thoughts out of your mind, and straighten your mind into the direction of the right way of building an altar or the right way to pray to God. And how important it is. Then, of course, Vayeshev in our parsha, also, we don't understand. What do we think? Yaakov is going to sit down and have a Filipino waving with the wind on him and having in one hand the glass of wine, in the other hand the cigar, sitting on the shore enjoying the view. No, this is not Yaakov. Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Oalim. He sits in tents. What tent? Tent of Torah. He wants to sit and learn Torah. So what's wrong with it? Why is the Torah tell us that it's not enough what's waiting for them from the next one? What does he want to do here? He wants to sit and learn Torah. But the Torah wants to tell us something else. There are a lot of explanations, but one explanation that I have a good connection with is the explanation that we think that education is something that is limited to a certain age. In other words, we have kids, we educate them, give them all the tools they need, and then at a certain age, 18, 20, 25, we let them go, and then they have to live their own life, and we finish with our education. Comes the Torah and tells us, you never finish with education. Never, ever. Even when you have big kids, you still have the obligation to educate them. You still have to show them a good sample for them to learn. And this is exactly what's happening. Why the story of Joseph is starting there? Because the story of Joseph is with all the brothers, is bringing us to this point. Yaakov Avinu was sure, like after all what he did in order to educate kids in the best way, and where did he do it? He did it in the house of Laban, in an impure place, in the worst place in the world, and he was successful. It was successful to a point that the Torah tells us, the angel of God saw him coming. They were amazed. What were they amazed of? They were amazed from the Jewish home, from the Beit HaYehudi, from the Jewish home that he built, with all the children, all of them educated in the best way there is. So he thought, now that he came back to Eretz Yisrael, he can settle himself and sit and learn. And with the part of education he finished, tells us the Torah, you never finish with the education. And we see this unbelievable story with the brothers that hate Joseph, their brother, and they want to kill him. To teach us the first lesson. In this world, we don't sit. In this world, we move all the time forward. Because as long as we're here, there's a lot to do. And it's not only sitting and learning, because sitting and learning is very important, more important than anything else. But you learn in order to do. You have to do things. In other words, to sit and learn and you don't care about anything else, it's wrong. As long as you're in this world, this is Olam HaMaaseh. That's a world of doing, of making, of moving, not a place of rest. And that's what our sages say. Lo dayam letzadikim, it's not enough what awaits them in the next world. They want to sit here comfortably and learn, enjoy, settle themselves down. No, not in this world, only in the next world. So sitting, it depends. What do you mean? It has a good side and it has a bad side. Sitting from the point of view, sitting to settle yourself in order to organize your thoughts and do the right thing in the right place. This is blessed, and nevertheless, not only blessed, that's the first thing you have to do. To settle your mind, to settle yourself, to think correctly, to take out all the other thoughts in order to do the right thing in the right place. As we said, for example, when you come to prayer, you want to pray to God, and you have all the worries of the daily worry. You have this problem, the other problem, parnosa or whatever, and then you are muddled up, and this is the way you stand and pray to God. So God tells him, first of all, sit, then pray. Sit down, settle yourself, come down, and you know, we all feel it when we come a short time before the tefillah, before the prayer, and we sit down, settle ourselves, the prayer is much better. We feel the connection much good, it's a different thing. And when we rush in it, it's not the same. So that's sitting in the right way. This is the good way of sitting. And of course, sitting as Yaakov Avinu is sitting, Vayeshev is sitting in tents, not 1 tent, 2 tents. And that's exactly the idea. He is situated in both worlds. He is situated in the world of learning, and he's also situated in the world of working and doing, because we see Yaakov Avinu, how he managed to do both things, not only learning. He is working, and not only working, he becomes very rich. And he deals with all the problem of life, not only from the spiritual side, also from the physical side. And in all of it, he understands Yoshev O'Alim. O'Alim, a tent, is something temporary. To understand and realize that this world is a temporary world, and we have to try and achieve as much as we can. It's like the story they bring in, I think, Chovot Alvavot. It brings a story on a town that they had a very interesting behavior. They used to take a guy from outside town and making a king for a year or 2 years, whatever. And after this, after a year, they just throw him out the same way he came. What was the idea? The idea maybe they wanted somebody from outside that is not that they cannot bribe, that is not bribed and not like he's going to do the straight thing, the right thing. He's from the outside, an outsider. And they took this guy, and he, wow, put him to be a king. So what did he do? Oh, he enjoyed life, and he brought everything he had from outside, inside, his wife, his kids, and he did build palaces there and did all the joys of life. Was spending money. Then the year ended, and one day the guards came in and took him and threw him out of town with nothing. Barely he had his clothes on. Nothing, everything was left. All the richness he had, all the houses, all the gold, all the silver, everything stayed in the town. And then they found somebody else. And this somebody else, he was a clever guy. He couldn't understand, why do they want me to become a king from outside? So he was starting talking. He got very friendly with one of the people there, and he was really giving him a lot of things and bribing him in another way. And then he told him the secret. He told him, you're going to be here only 1 year. So he said, okay, let's do the right thing. He took whatever he could from this town outside, from the place he came from. And there he built a beautiful home and took gold out there and put all the things he could there. And while he was doing it, he was not suffering. He was living normal life, but everything that had value, he took out of the town. And then when the year ended, they came to take him. He was happy and sad. Said he was that he wished he had more time to gather more money, more property to take outside. And from the other side, happy for what is waiting for him outside. And this is the same story of us in this world. This world is a limited world. It's like a tent, temporary. Some of the people, like the stupid guy in the beginning, they don't understand that they're only here for a few years, and they take and enjoy this life, this world, spend all the money on enjoying this world, building homes, buying cars and clothes, enjoy, and nothing to have when they come out of this world. No mitzvahs, only joy and happiness on the physical side. The other guy, he was clever. He understood, like we have to understand, this world is a temporary place. And the only thing we can take out of this place is the mitzvahs we do. And as more mitzvahs you do, the more you take out. And then when the day comes and you have to go to the next world, to leave this beautiful world, you are happy and maybe a little sad, because if you would have stayed here a little longer, you could do much more for the next world, for the eternal world. And this eternity waits for us outside. This is only a limited place, a temporary place. And if we understand and take whatever we can in order to achieve more and more in the next world, the happier we will be and the better it is. And this is the idea of Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev O'Alim. So in order to do this, you have to settle yourself and take your mind in the right direction. That's the good way of sitting. But sitting here, like settle yourself in this world and enjoy this world, sitting, enjoying life, the physical side, this is the most stupid thing to do. So when we go back to education, we see the unbelievable things that happened with the children of Yaakov Avinu. He wanted to settle, he thought he finished the education. And then we see unbelievable things happening. Nevertheless, he also is doing a mistake. He gives Joseph more than he gave to the other brother, and they think he loves them. He loves him more than them. But we have to understand and realize what's going on here. Is it really the brothers, the 12 tribes? Do they really want to kill their own brother? Why? And why is the brother Joseph telling his dreams about being ruling on them, about being a king? Why is he telling the dreams to them? Is it not stupid? You know they hate you. Why did you tell them? So let's look at it from the point of view of Joseph. From the point of view of Joseph, he loves his brother. And we see, he says, "Et achai anochi mevakesh." When Yitzchak sending him, when Yaakov, sorry, I'm talking about Joseph, not on Yaakov. When Yaakov sent Joseph to find his brothers in the field, and he doesn't find them, he says this unbelievable sentence, "Et echai anochi mevakesh." I'm asking for my brother. I'm seeking for my brothers. He wants the relationship. He wants the connection. He loves them. And by the way, this is the why he's also telling them the dreams, because he sees that they don't love him. And the Gemara says that if you have a dream and you tell the dream to somebody and he's solving your dream, whatever he said is going to happen. In other words, if you have a dream and you want somebody to solve your dream, you go to somebody who loves you, because otherwise he's going to solve the dream in a bad way and it's going to happen. So you go to somebody who loves you, that's going to interpret the dream in a good way, and this is the good thing to do. So he tells his brother the dream in order to show them, I love you. And because I love you, I'm telling you my dream, because I know you can now translate my dream in the worst way that you can. But because I trust you and love you, I'm telling you the dream. Unfortunately, they don't see it in this time. They see a whole different picture. They see that from Avraham Avinu, only one was the follower, which was Yitzchak. They see that from Yitzchak, only one is a follower, Yaakov. And now what do they think? The follower now is Joseph. And it's not that they hate him because he wants to be the king. He's not the right person to be the king. He's the wrong guy, in the wrong place. He's an arrogant guy. He is a telltale. He lies about them. He tells his father about them. He wants to rule. He is playing with his hair. He's busy with this world. They don't see the real picture. And that's why they decide, if Yaakov is taking him and loves him more than others, and he wants to give him the lead for the next generation, he is the chosen one, this is going to be the end of Am Yisrael. This is going to be the end of the tradition. This is going to be the end of everything. So we have to kill him in order to save Am Yisrael, to save the future of Am Yisrael from this arrogant guy. And why is Yaakov Avinu doing what he's doing? Because Yaakov Avinu knows that Joseph is going to go through life with the same stages that he went through life. He's going to have the same difficulties. He also was hated by his brother, and he is hated by his brother. He also had to leave home, and Joseph has to leave home. He knows it in Ruach HaKodesh. And this is why he takes him and gives him the right tools in order to be successful in the way in which we see. Eventually, he was successful. He had the power when he was with the wife of Potiphar. What saved him from sinning? He saw his father. So in other words, the education from his father helped to save him from this experience, from this test that he had what he goes through. And this is why Yaakov is taking Joseph and showing him love. But it's not the meaning of love. He's teaching him, giving him the right tools, which the other brothers don't need. But the other brothers, they didn't see it this way. They thought he chose him to be the chosen one, to be the one who's going to go on. And they didn't agree with this. And Joseph, on the other side, always wants to, he knows that the dreams are true, which we see later on. They are true. And he wants his brother to be, and he looks for them all the time. And even then, after all they did to him, we see that eventually he is the one who is supporting them in Egypt. He loves them. It doesn't matter what they do. So we see here the way you look at things. And sometimes you know what is the reason for this, let's say, mix-up. That's how Joseph sees it, how they see it, how Jacob. This is all about communication. When he is going to seek and find his brother in the field, when he finds them in Dotan, ויראו אותו מרחוק, ובטרם יקרב עליהם ויתנכלו אותו לעמיתו. ויאמרו איש אל אחיו, הנה בא בעל החלומות על הזה בא, ועתה לכו ונהרגהו ונשליכהו באחת הבור. They saw him from far away coming, and before he even get closer, they already decided to kill him. And they didn't even let him open the mouth. They immediately took him and then throw him into the hole in the ground, into the pit, without having any connection. And this is the problem. And a lot of times in life, we see things and we feel things and we feel badly about them. It's like my wife had a very good friend. She still has. And we invited her for a wedding and she didn't answer. So my wife phoned her. She was together with her in university, sleeping her with the same room. And she answered the phone. And when she heard it's my wife, Joanne, and I asked them, why didn't you answer? She says very coldly, we're not coming. And the phone went down. My wife couldn't, what's happening? I also couldn't believe, what's going on here? And we sat down and thought, something is wrong. But in order to solve the problem, we need communication. We need to phone again. I said to my wife, no, what? You have to phone her and ask her, what is wrong? What have we done wrong? And she phoned again. And eventually we find out that they had a simcha and they invited us, but we didn't get the invitation. So my wife says, what do you think? If we would have got the invitation, we wouldn't come to your wedding. By hook or by crook, doesn't matter what, we will come to be with you in on your function, on your simcha. But we didn't get it. So Baruch Hashem, this was solved. And they're still very good friends. But imagine to yourself that we wouldn't have phoned. And we let it like this. What would happen then? So one of the basic things to learn from the story of Joseph and his brother and Yaakov, communicate, explain what you do. Be together, tell each other what's going on, speak with each other, and then things will look all different. So all the best and good communication to everybody. Good morning and a good day.